No scars.
Okay, you're on.
Maybe
Okay.
it
I'd like
has
to call this
rash.
meeting of the Finance Committee of the New Philadelphia City Council to order. I am looking, I won't call the roll, but I noticed that Mr. Kreinbill, Mr. Lanzer, and Mrs. Ramos are all here tonight, so we do have our committee together. The first thing on the docket for us tonight is Resolution 7, 2024, which is basically a resolution authorizing the auditor to transfer up to $2,299.53 from the Safer Grant into the general fund, and up to $850.20 from the TV cable franchise fees, account number 260, to the general fund, as was previously appropriated. And I'm gonna open the floor to the auditor to explain what you explained to me, that this is basically just to memorialize the move.
Exactly, memorialize it in
satisfy
case
auditors.
the auditors in the next year said, well, maybe you should have had legislation for that. Additional besides the budget.
So it's really not a budgetary effect,
It is
it's
not.
money that's been appropriated and taken care of. It's,
Yeah.
it's more of a bookkeeping, record-keeping type
Yes,
of,
correct.
a resolution. So just wanted to get that out there for everybody as to what this was. Does anybody have questions about why we should or shouldn't do it? It's basically covering ourselves
Right,
to make sure we have an audit trail.
correct. And the 2,200 plus in the Safer Grant is what was left over. And then the franchise fees, same deal, it's just been sitting in that fund for a while. We are now putting our cable franchise fees into the general fund anyway, so I thought we'd just clean up that fund too.
So essentially allows us to retire those line items.
Correct.
Zero them out. Mr. Kramer, any questions?
No, pretty
Mr. Lonzo?
self-explanatory.
Mr. Ramos?
On the safer funds, those have already been spent?
Yes,
Okay. And we spent them on what, the
Yes.
safer grant was very specific on what
Right.
should be spent for.
there's always a big delay in getting them to pay us.
So it's just, we spent that money out of the general fund and we're
No,
paying
we
ourselves
spent it out,
back?
had to spend it all out of Safer Grant money,
Okay,
and that's what was left that we are now allowed to transfer back. Well, actually, let me start again. The Safer Grant, even though it was 100%, didn't pay everything. And we were paying some of those expenses out of the general fund for those 3 firefighters in particular. So that's why we can transfer this last payment from FEMA back into the general account.
It's essentially reimbursing us for
Yes.
expenses paid out. of
Not
general
even
fund.
anywhere close to what we actually
Right.
spent, but that's what's left over.
But it allows us to zero out the safer account.
Yes.
Any
Thank
other
you.
questions? Anybody from the audience, or I would say other members of council, but we pretty much are the members of council right now. If not, I would entertain a motion to move forward with this if there is one.
I'll go ahead and move to add Resolution 7, 2024, proposed Resolution 7, 2024 to tonight's agenda. And if able to, ask for suspension of the rules and pass on first reading.
But it will not hurt us if we have to go to 3 readings.
Correct.
Okay. I've got a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. I'll call the roll then. Mr. Lanzer?
Yes.
Mr. Kreinbill?
Yes.
And I will also vote yes, so we will add that to tonight's agenda and at least have for first reading, or if we can suspend the rules, we will at that time. One other item was forwarded, it was forwarded from the Special and Contact Committee, primarily because of the timeliness of the issue. We have before us the request, do we or don't we wish to have a hearing on a liquor license? It's for the Rosenthal Investments LLC, doing business as the venue on Front Avenue, Southwest New Philadelphia. This is basically asking whether we want to have a hearing or not. I've not heard of any issues with this location. You're not aware of any, Greg?
No.
So I would entertain a motion, as we've done in the past, to ask for a floor vote to pass this forward, stating that we do not wish to hold a hearing, if you guys are okay with that.
Other than, the venue's one of our upstanding businesses in town. We've never never have any issues there. I mean, that's more of a fine dining restaurant.
My biggest issue is I can't get there enough. Same here, same here.
But, if anybody else has any questions.
Any other questions or discussion? Okay, I would entertain a motion then to move this to the floor for a voice vote tonight, stating that we do not wish to have a hearing on this issue and move forward.
I'll make the motion to move it to a floor vote this
Okay,
evening.
do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All right, I'll call the roll. Mr. Kreinbel?
Yes.
Mr. Lanzer?
Yes.
I also will vote yes, so we will move the request forward with a voice vote and ask the clerk then to return this saying that we do not wish to have a hearing on the issue. Is there any other business to come before this committee? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
We will adjourn at 7:20. 7:21, it just clicked.
good.
Okay, we're on.
This meeting of New Philadelphia City Council will come to order. Would you please rise and remain standing for the invocation and pledge of allegiance? Mr. Griffith.
Thank you, Mr. President. Would you please join me in prayer? Most gracious Heavenly Father, we just give you thanks and praise for all your mighty works. We thank you for creating us and sustaining us daily, Lord, and we thank you that you made us in your image so that we could exist in community with others. You've blessed us to live in a fantastic nation, and more specifically, a wonderful community here in New Philadelphia. Thank you for all of the citizens who live here. I thank you, Lord, for our city employees and their leaders, our elected officials, our businesses, the local churches, and all those who make our city such a great place to live and work, Lord. I ask your blessing upon them. I pray for this council meeting tonight, Lord, that you would give each of the members wisdom and guidance in the decisions that must be made here tonight. May every decision be righteous in your sight, for our benefit and for your glory, Lord. May an attitude of service, stewardship, and respect just permeate all that we do in this room here tonight. And may our actions be pleasing, and acceptable in your sight. We ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you, and welcome to our May the 13th, 2024 council meeting. We'll start with roll call.
Mr. Kreinbell.
Here.
Mr. Lanzer.
Present.
Mr. Pace. Mrs. Ramos.
Here.
Mr. Ribbit.
Present.
Mr. Simmelink. Mr. Walker.
And let it be known that Mr. Walker, Mr. Simmelink, and Mr. Pace are excused. We don't have enough to suspend the rules, and we do have a quorum, so. Everybody's had a chance to review the agenda. Is there any additions to the agenda for tonight?
Mr. President, yes,
Yes.
I would like to move that we add Resolution 7, 2024 to tonight's agenda.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Mr. Lancer. In discussion by administration, council, roll call.
Mr. Ribbit.
Yes.
Mr. Walker. Mr. Lanzer.
Yes.
Mr. Kreinbell.
Yes.
Mrs. Ramos.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Any other additions for the agenda tonight? Here none, I entertain a motion to approve the agenda for tonight.
Make a motion.
All right, thank you, Mr. Granville. Need a second.
Second that.
Thank you, Mr. Rippeth. In discussion by administration, council, roll call.
Mr. Kreinbell.
Yes.
Mr. Ribbit.
Yes.
Mr. Lanzer.
Yes.
Mrs. Ramos.
Yes.
All right, agenda has been approved. Minutes. Everybody's had a chance to review the minutes from our last council meeting. Are there any additions or corrections? Hearing none, I entertain a motion to accept.
I'll make that motion. Mr.
All right,
President.
thank you, Mr. Lancer. Need a second?
I'll second.
All right, thank you, Mrs. Ramos. Any discussion by administration, council, roll call?
Mr. Lanzer.
Yes.
Mrs. Ramos.
Yes.
Mr. Ribbit. Mr. Kreinbell.
Yes.
Mr. Ribbit.
Yes.
All right, minutes have been approved. Correspondence, Ms. Courtright.
To council clerk from the Ohio Division of Liquor Control dated April 23rd, 2024. Responses to be postmarked no later than May 24th, 2024. This is a liquor license request from Rosenthal Investments LLC, doing business as The Venue. I forwarded this to President Kemp. To council clerk from Treasurer Gerber dated April 30th, 2024. This is the investment and savings report for the month of April 2024. To council and administration from Executive Administrative Assistant to the Mayor Jamie Bailey dated April 30th, 2024. This is the April month-end report. To council and administration from Income Tax Administrator for the city Carly Luce dated April 30th, 2024. This is the month-end report for April of 2024. To Council President Kemp from Auditor Gundy dated May 1st, 2024. This is an email titled Legislation. Mrs. Gundy requested that legislation to transfer cash from two funds into the general fund be assigned to committee. President Kemp asked Mr. Ribbit to take this matter into his committee. To council and administration from Heather Denham with the Auditor's Office dated May 2nd, 2024. This is the April month-end report. To council and administration from Mayor Day dated May 4th, 2024. This is an email titled Invitation to Governor DeWine's Press Conference on Monday in Marietta. To council and administration from Executive Administrative Assistant to the Mayor Jamie Bailey dated May 6th, 2024. This is an email titled Governor DeWine announces $152 million in Appalachian waterfront development. To Councilman Walker from President Kemp dated May 7th, 2024. This is an email titled Liquor License Request. Oh, I actually did have that. That's a duplicate. To council and administration from Auditor Gundy dated May 8th, 2024. This is an email titled Tax Exempt Status. It's regarding the Tuscarora Park Foundation. To Councilman Simmelink from President Kemp dated May 10th, 2024. President Kemp asked Mr. Simmelink to take proposed ordinance 18, 2024 regarding pedestrian safety in the downtown area into his committee. To council and administration from Mayor Day dated May 10th, 2024. This is an email titled Homework, First Draft of the New Zoning Code. To council clerk from Jen Bogger with the Ohio Ethics Commission dated May 10th, 2024. This is a reminder that financial disclosure statements are due May 15th, 2024. I forwarded this to council and administration. And to council and administration from Mayor Day dated May 13th, 2024, the mayor's report. And that concludes correspondence for
All
this
right,
evening,
quite a
Mr.
bit
President.
there. Thank you, Ms. Courtwright. Move on to our administrative reports. First up, Mayor Day.
Thank you, Mr. President, council members, fellow administrators, and guests. A few things I want to touch on from the report I sent you earlier today. First off, the $2.9 million grant the city received last week to fund the redesign of 3 downtown quadrants was in keeping with the intent of the Appalachian Community Grant Program to fund transformational projects. Our project will transform the center of our town, making it more walkable, and as written in our funding application, quote, "This project will make downtown New Philadelphia into a high-quality place by converting its central square into an interconnected 4-quadrant plaza that buzzes with activity, entertainment, outdoor dining and recreation, retail, and community events," end quote. It's my hope that the project also spurs more investment in the downtown buildings and properties. I thank Service Director McAbeer and Meredith Reed and her team at Designing Local of Columbus for developing the quadrant's redesign. Ironton Lawrence Community Action Organization for including our project in its ACGP application. Lydia Mahalik, the Director of the Ohio Department of Development, and Governor Mike DeWine and his Office of Appalachia for selecting the project for funding. I am disappointed that completion of the Ohio and Erie Canal towpath trails in New Philadelphia didn't make the funding cut, but there are other state and federal grant programs that can be utilized to obtain funding for that project. Just a reminder, the downtown New Philadelphia is going to be buzzing this Sunday, May 19th, the return of Art on the Alley, which has evolved into one of the biggest arts-centered venues and events in eastern Ohio. The Tuscarawas Arts Partnership organizes and stages the event, and TAP Executive Director Wilma Mullet tells me that all vendor spots have been sold out, and there will be 3 stages of entertainment, and of course food trucks and other food vendors. The hours for Art on the Alley this Sunday from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Parking will be available in the county lots on First Drive Northeast and 2nd Street Northeast, and in the city-county lots at First Drive and Front Avenue Southeast. And don't forget to include a walk down Artigan Alley while you're at Art on the Alley. At tomorrow's City Planning Commission meeting, Wendy Moeller of Compass Point Planning plans to review each chapter of the first draft of the city's new zoning code. She's finally completed that. Included in her presentation will be a first look at a new zoning map that's been created by her study. Once city officials have had a chance to read the first draft and recommend revisions, the new zoning code will be presented to the public for comment. And finally, I want to remind everybody that this Wednesday is Peace Officers Memorial Day. I ask you to remember those men and women in blue who gave their lives in service to their communities. And also keep New Philadelphia's police officers in your prayers. And remember, they are willing to put their lives on the line for our protection. That concludes my report, Mr. President. Any questions?
Any questions?
How far out for the downtown? Like, you got a time frame of when that project may happen, when the funds might come?
Well, the funds will come as soon as we start the project. Ron? Ron.
Okay, so it's
been
not
heading
like-
the project.
Okay.
Good.
Yeah, we'll start our first Zoom meeting with Ironton tomorrow, naturally, because it's just fresh off the press. But we have to be under contract with a contractor. I forget what that date exactly is, I'll find that out tomorrow. But my idea would be start spring of '25 and be done by the fall of '25. When we first talked about it, they talked roughly about a 5-month construction period, so I would like to get it hopefully all done next year, because as everybody knows, with that ARPA money, or the grant money, it all has to be out by September of '26. You had to have shovel-ready projects. That was the big, one of the big pieces
Yeah.
of that, so this was ready.
And all projects, because of ARPA money, have to be completed by October of 2026.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, Mr. Ramos.
The information that you sent us, I actually read it. They said the project outline was, have bids out this summer, June, July, and start construction winter of 2025 and finish by October 26th.
Well, we have to have people under contract by the end of that September date.
Yeah,
And then, whenever the contractors can start, that's, that's
so it
gonna
was
be,
almost a 2-year project,
well,
year and a half,
that's
But
the
you-
window.
okay.
Yeah,
It
that's
might
the
be
window
5
for
months.
construction, but I don't think ours is gonna take that long.
No,
No, huh?
I'd be looking for a different contractor.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Again, Mr. McNamara, thank you for all your hard work in getting that grant.
Well, thank you, Mr. President.
It's it's a big plus for the city of New Philadelphia.
Well, thank you, Mr. President.
So, good work, good job.
Thank you.
Next, well, then you're up, Service Director, Mr. McNamara.
Thanks again, Mr. President. Good evening, everyone. A few things that we accomplished over the last few weeks. The boat ramps was installed the first of the month, so the waterworks one is in, and then the 416 went to Old Carlisle livery. It has been also been put in. The CDBG project, which is out on 11th and College, got an email from them today. They're gonna start tomorrow demoing the curb strips, and then come in and demo the sidewalks also. So they will be in tomorrow starting. That project is probably about 5 weeks, and should be finished with that. So I'll update at the next council meeting as far as the progress of those guys. Also, I don't know if anybody noticed, but if we remember the mobile traffic signal that we had the $40,000 grant through the BWC, it was in use about 3 weeks ago. We had a water leak out on Tuscarawas Avenue. So if we remember, that used to be 2 or 3 guys, the traffic, an individual's out there also in danger. So we used it for the water department out there. Worked great. Took the guys approximately 35 minutes to set up, and that was because it was their first time. After talking with the guys, they feel it's about a 20-minute operation to get up and going. But again, and then right after that, it was in that same week, had another location that worked out to use it. So we've been putting that to use, and it's really been helpful. It's been a nice addition to the General Services Department. Also, last Friday, May the 10th, we opened bids for the grease and grit removal building at the wastewater plant, which that's the headworks of the plant. Everything comes in at that point and does all the solids out of there. Unfortunately, one bid and $150,000 over the engineer's estimate. So Brian and I will be assessing that. There's some things that we added that maybe we may be able to, do ourselves or remove from the bid, maybe bid it again. But once we make that decision, I will let council know what we decide. But at this time, being over that 10%, we always have that option to refuse all bids, and we will refuse this bid. And once we decide which way moving forward, I will let council know. That's the end of my report.
All right, question for Mr. McAbeer. All right, thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
McAbeer. Safety Director, Mr. Popham.
Thank you, Mr. President. No report this evening.
All right, Auditor, Mrs. Gundy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to let everyone know this is my last meeting.
Oh,
Yeah, that last week of May is pretty much a vacation week for me. And I want to tell everyone that I have appreciated working with each and every one of you, even you two guys. And I wish everyone the best, and you can call me almost any time.
almost, right?
Yeah.
All
Don't
right.
expect me to pick up on the first ring.
2 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well,
I'm
thank
just gonna knock on the door, Beth.
Thank you for your many years. Thank you for all you've done for the city of New Philadelphia. And so, we do have a party coming up for you on the 23rd, so,
Yeah, okay.
How many years, Beth? I don't think I've ever asked you.
28 years and it'll be 5 months.
Okay.
all right.
Well done.
Director report, Mr. Gerber.
No reports.
All right. Law Director, Mr. Fate.
No report, Mr. President.
Whoa, no report.
Had a long one last time.
All right. All right, we went to our board commission reports. Planning Commission, Mr. Day.
As I reported in my mayor's report, the planning commission will be meeting here in council chambers tomorrow at 1. We'll get the first look at the complete first draft of the new zoning code.
All right.
Encourage everyone who can attend to attend, please.
Yeah, I tell you what, those meetings are very informative and so.
Yeah. Yep.
Good meetings to attend. All right, Board of Zoning Appeals, Mr. McAbeer.
Thank you, Mr. President. Board of Zoning and Appeals will be meeting tomorrow night here in council chambers at 5 p.m. with one variance request to be heard.
All right. Airport Commission, Mr. Lonzer.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Airport Commission will be meeting tomorrow evening, 6 p.m. at the Harry Cleaver Field meeting room.
All right. Thank you. Mr. Pace is not here. We'll move on, and Tom's not here. So we'll move on to our council committee reports. Finance, Mr. Rippeth.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Finance Committee met here in council chambers earlier this evening at 7:15. We discussed Resolution 7, 2024, to move some funds and memorialize that movement that has been placed on the agenda for tonight. We also brought before us the request on a liquor license renewal, and we've decided that we will ask for a floor vote at a later time to pass that forward, not asking for a hearing.
All right.
That concludes my report. We adjourned at 7:21.
All right, thank you, Mr. Rippeth.
This is when we do the floor vote, right? Yes.
Oh, we do it now?
Yeah.
Yeah,
During, yeah.
yeah, during committee report, yeah.
All right. We do have a full vote to not have a hearing for the renewal of the liquor license. So, roll call.
Mr. Kreinbell,
Yes.
Mr. Lonzer.
Yes.
Mrs. Ramos,
Yes.
Mr. Ribbit.
Yes.
All right.
All right. So we'll forward that on that we do not want to have a hearing.
Oh,
All right. Public Works and Economic Development, Mr. Lonzer.
Thank you, Mr. President. No report this evening.
we,
All right, move on to zoning and annexation, Mrs. Ramos.
Thank you, Mr. President. No report.
All right, salary, Mr. Granville.
Thank you, Mr. President. No report this evening.
All right. So now we'll move on, so nobody else is here. We'll move on to visitors' comments. The floor is now open for visitors' comments. Anyone wishing to address council should rise. State their name and address all comments to the chair. You'll have 5 minutes. Anyone wishing to address council this evening? Come over to the podium, please.
Okay, you gotta bear with me, this is my first time on my
All
own.
right. Your name and address?
Connie Limbacher, 314 Providence Avenue, Southeast New Philly.
Okay.
Okay, first of all, I want to, I'm a wife, a mother, a grandmother, I'm a resident here, I'm a 1977 graduate of New Philly, and the first year graduate of Buckeye. So
Congratulations.
that kind of states that part of it. And I'm also, did the Buckeye Career Center Medical Transcription and Coding course back in 2003. So I'm a long time Buckeye. So on my professional side, I wanted to state I am a Ohio Prevention Certified Prevention Specialist. I am the secretary for Empower Tusk since its formation, formerly the Tusk County Anti-Drug Coalition. I'm also been with the state prevention board down there as well. The Prevention Action Alliance, they recently renamed themselves, as well as the Ohio Professional Preventions. And I average 600 plus hours in volunteer a year since 2016. So I say this, and I got the 2020 Volunteer Community Champion Award for the state of Ohio. So I say this so that you recognize that I'm coming to you tonight, yes, in regards to DORA, the alcohol, because we know that alcohol is the #1 substance abuse. And we have all strived to make it less accessible for the youth. And so this is where I'm coming as myself, as a citizen, but also as a professional. I can tell you that we've done great in making it less accessible, but we're striving to do more, and now I feel we're backsliding a little by opening it up to the DOOR program when we've worked so hard. When teens drink alcohol, it affects their brains. Hey, I'm a person that I used to, back in 2015, before I started with the prevention, I was a person who said, let them smoke, drink, I don't care, they go to war, do whatever. You spend 15 minutes with Jody Salvo, forget it, you lost. She'll win you over. I knew nothing about the brain. I wish I could go back to school and learn about the brain. I had no idea brain was not developed until mid to late 20s. And yes, women, men's brains take longer than women. So I just thought I'd throw that in there a little bit. So anyhow, there is a way that eventually it can help. You can get some of that brain damage back, but not if it's repeated. And also, the younger you are, the sooner you start doing alcohol or drugs and getting used to it, the more likely you'll be addicted. So the later for that first drink, the better. And we already have 1 in 4 teens stating in New Philly that they have had alcohol. So that's scary. And also, we don't want them to interpret what we're doing. We need to be a role model. You don't want to go out there and say, do this, don't do that, and you're just doing the opposite. You need to be a role model. Because it's actions. They're gonna do what they see, and they look up to you. The perception of harm. We're saying alcohol isn't a problem. We're very casually, what you put on Facebook, what did you put on the media? I can't be happy or smile unless I have my drink to relax. It's perception of harm. We've got to be very careful how we interpret our stuff. Especially since we're working so hard with addiction and recovery. I can, thank God, I do not personally have that problem, but I was raised in a family that did. And so that's why, and alcohol was the drug of choice, and they didn't see a problem until it was too late. And I very seldom saw my family, my parents, without a drink, morning, noon. It's 5 o'clock anywhere, somewhere. So that's why alcohol is so much of a subject to me. And that's why I do what I do. I care about the kids. I care about our community. I care about each one. And I think we have other ways we can reach out and do this. So, you know, we just need more awareness, education, and there's a lot of things that you see you can never unsee. So that is a scary thing. In ending, I'd like just to say, I'd like to feel safe when I'm out in the community, and safety to me is not having alcohol and drugs around me, as my family used a lot of alcohol while I was growing up, and this has caused some trauma in my life. We need to stand up and say it's okay to keep the alcohol in the restaurants and the bars and not allow it to be brought out into the common areas outside. So, thank you for your
All
time.
right, thank you for your comments. Anyone else? All right, we'll move into our council comments. Any council comments this evening? Hearing none, we'll move into our legislative agenda.
Ordinance number 17, 2024, an ordinance authorizing the sale of certain property owned by the City of New Philadelphia not required for public purposes pursuant to the Ohio Revised Code Section 721.15, disposition of property unneeded, obsolete, or unfit for municipal purposes, and declaring an emergency. Second reading.
Is there any action been taken by council on this ordinance tonight? All right, hearing none, be held for our next regularly scheduled council meeting.
Resolution number 7, 2024, a resolution by the council of the City of New Philadelphia, Ohio, to authorize and direct the auditor of the City of New Philadelphia to transfer up to $2,299.53 from the Safer Grant 2019 Fund Number 223 to the General Fund Number 101, and up to $8,850.20 from the TV Cable Franchises Fees Fund Number 260 to the General Fund Number 101 as previously appropriated, and declaring an emergency. First reading.
Is there any action be taken by council on this resolution tonight? Hearing none, we held for our next regularly scheduled council meeting.
That concludes legislation for this evening,
All
Mr.
right.
President.
Thank you, Ms. Courtwright. Any unfinished or old business for council tonight? Any new business?
I have a new business.
Yes, Ms.
I should have said this during my presentation. I want to invite everybody to come to West Elementary School on Friday, the 17th. The fourth graders will be putting on a live wax museum that is open to the public.
My daughter did it last year.
Okay.
It was really cool.
And my oldest son did it 2 years ago, and it's really neat. They have to present somebody famous from Ohio. So it's all famous. They'll be dressed up as their person. They'll have a trifold in front of them, and they have to give an actual speech that they have to memorize when you come around to them. You can go through and you see every different one. And Ryder Fate, I'm particularly excited. He selected John Glenn, which every red and black-blooded New Philadelphian knows, learned to fly in 1941 right here at Erie Clever Airport when he was a junior at Muskingum College. And of course, he went on from there to be a fighter pilot for the Marine Corps in both World War II and Korea. And in 1962, he circumnavigated the Earth as the first American to orbit the planet. And at the age of 77, he returned to space in the space shuttle and became the oldest American to go into space. In case you couldn't tell, I've been working with my son on this project. So I would invite you to come out and see it. It's a really neat thing. It's a great way to support our youth, and it's a lot of fun to see.
What,
All right, thank
what time?
Starts at 9:30 in the morning.
Oh, okay.
All right, thank you, Mr. Fate. Mr. Ramos, you had,
I just wanted to confirm that the next council meeting is on May 30th?
May 30th at 7:30. That's right, on the Thursday after, since Monday is a holiday, so. So we'll get the word out, so everybody, we'll be here on the 30th at 7:30. I know we'll probably have some committee meetings that night as well, so we're all set. All right, here and now, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved, Mr. President.
All right, thank you, Ms. Alonso. Everybody have a good evening.